Over this past year, we have faced unimaginable challenges.
Breaking news, the coronavirus declared a public health emergency in the U.S.
The hospitals are overwhelmed.
You know, this was something that none of us had ever dealt with before.
Live to the Maryland State House, the governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan.
Last year, I spoke about how Maryland was setting a shining example for the rest of America. I convened a meeting in Washington with all of the nation's governors and the federal government's top public health experts, where we received a harrowing warning of the imminent threat of a novel coronavirus that was about to reach our shores.
We were dealing with this day and night, really 7 days a week, how to keep our citizens safe. In this environment, when people don't usually work together in a bipartisan way, we really did put aside all the politics. We didn't have red and blue uniforms on. I called all the governors together. We were speaking with one voice. It's the hardest part of the job when I have to get up there and report those kinds of things. When we had our first death of a child in the state, it was really hard for me to get through that announcement as I thought about those parents.
And I'd like to ask you to please join me in a moment of silent prayer. Every single day since that day, we have had to take unprecedented actions that were unthinkable just a year ago to help those impacted by this pandemic.
Only about 10% of this relief package actually goes toward public health.
And now, as you mentioned, the House Transportation Committee has put $112 million into the COVID bill.
Governor Hogan signs a $1.5 billion COVID relief bill that will pour money into the pockets of people and businesses.
And as Washington remains divided on financial relief, Governor Hogan praised lawmakers for reaching across the aisle to get it done.
We have a governor who sees, because we all represent the same people.
Criticized President Biden for seeming to abandon bipartisanship.
No wonder Democrats want to pass all this on a partisan vote. It's a progressive blowout for the ages.
We can safely reopen our schools and get our kids back into the classrooms where they belong.
And I'm pleased that nearly every school system in the state has either already done so or has indicated that they will meet the deadline.
Issue about schools. The administration seems to be all over the place on this, frankly.
We knew that remote education, is not a good substitute.
The healthcare officials who were saying it's time to go back to school. And this retreat a couple of days ago, I'm sorry, it was pathetic.
Some of the problems we face today as a nation are because politicians refuse to tell the hard truths when it doesn't fit their agenda.
They spend a lot more time arguing and debating and making speeches and a lot less time actually getting things done. But we've got to decide if we're going to head in this direction of continuing to practice this kind of crazy fringe politics on the far right or the far left, or whether we're going to actually go back to a more traditional Republican Party and an America where we can bring people together with a positive, hopeful vision.
Let's continue to set a shining example for the rest of America by showing that we refuse to succumb to the divisiveness and dysfunction that is infecting our national politics.
I just do the best job I can, make the right decisions every day, whether it's politically popular or not. It turns out that is pretty popular. That's what people want.